All right, so today we're going to be talking about the rules for multiplying and dividing integers. So we've done a series over adding integers, over subtracting integers. So now we're going to move into multiplying. So there are just some straightforward rules for multiplying integers. So we're going to start with those. And then there are a couple of tricks that you can use as you multiply, just to remember the rules. So our rules in general, we have a positive times a positive equals a positive. So same sign is going to be positive. The next one is a negative times a negative equals a positive. Okay? Next, positive times a negative is a negative, and negative times a positive is a negative. So you can see if they have the same sign, okay, same sign, they're going to be positive. If they have a different sign, so positive and negative, negative and positive, we'll say different sign, it's going to be negative. Okay? There's a trick that I'm going to teach you later as well that will help in that, but we're going to start with those rules. So let's go really quickly to our examples. Basically, when you multiply and divide integers, you just multiply like normal. Okay? So we have negative 11 times negative 7. Well, we know that 11 times 7 is 77, okay? And a negative times a negative, we said, was a positive. So this is actually going to be positive 77. There's a trick that we can use. We call it the triangle. So it looks like this. It has two negatives and a positive. So for example, let's say we were doing this one. A negative times a negative, you mark it out, and whatever's left over, that's your sign for your answer. So right here, negative times a negative is positive 77. Okay, let's do the next one. 4 times negative 5. Again, you multiply like normal. 4 times 5 is 20. And we said earlier, a positive times a negative. If they have different signs, our answer is negative. So we're going to have negative 20. Again, we could use our triangle here. All right, a positive times a negative, you mark it out, and whatever's left over, your sign is negative, which is what we said. Okay? All right, next example is a fraction. I just want to kind of prove to you that you just multiply like normal. So 2/3 times 4/5, and this is negative 2/3. We actually did a session over fractions a while back. So it says to multiply fractions, you know, you've got them. It's top times top and bottom times bottom. So top times top here is 8. Bottom times bottom is 15, so 8/15. And our rule is a negative times a positive is a negative. So they have different signs, so my answer is negative 8/15. Okay? Again, we're multiplying like normal. The only thing is that our answer becomes a negative because of our rule. Okay? Last one, kind of the same thing, but with the decimals. We have 78 times 0.5, and that's negative 0.5, so we'll go back to that at the end. 5 times 8 is 40. 5 times 7 is 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. I moved my decimal place once, or that decimal place, in my question. And then a negative times a positive. Again, we can use our triangle if we want to. A negative times a positive is going to be a negative 39. Okay? The last trick, this is something that maybe will help you if it confuses you. You don't have to use it. But basically, if you have an even number of negatives, you have a positive answer. If you have an odd number of negatives, you have a negative answer. So we can kind of look back at our questions. There's 1, 2 negatives, so our answer is going to be positive. That's an even number of negatives, so we get a positive answer. On this next one, there's only 1 negative, so that's an odd number of negatives, which means our answer is negative. That's what we kind of had down here. Okay? That only works if you only have multiplication or division. Once you throw in addition, subtraction, all of that stuff, you have to use order of operations. But just remember, even number of negatives, your answer is going to be positive. Odd number of negatives, your answer is going to be negative.